Hi there, I'm Jenny, and I'm just going to talk to you today about something called de-escalation. Sometimes we think of this more as taking the sting out of kind of really tricky situations that we might get ourselves into. So these situations tend to be the things where we're experiencing a really strong emotion. And at those times, sometimes the best we can do is just to calm things, to calm ourselves, to calm the other person, and just to help them calm down too. So the sorts of situations we might be talking about are arguments, getting unwanted messages on social media, feeling unjustly accused of something, or being told no to a request that we've made. At these times, we might feel like our emotions are going up and the emotions of the other person that we're talking to are also going up. So when we become emotionally overwhelmed, it's as if parts of our brain stop working. So we're less likely to be able to hear the things that people are saying to us, less likely to be able to process the information that's coming to us. We're less likely to be able to take someone else's perspective in the situation, and less likely to be able to speak in a sensible, clear way. If both people in that situation find themselves emotionally overwhelmed, the conversation's not going to go so well. So both people are finding it hard to take in information, finding it hard to speak clearly. And at those times, we're at risk of things getting out of hand, of things becoming violent, or things becoming so that there's no resolution that can be found. Impulsive actions might happen, people might walk out, people might self-harm, all sorts of things that just because those thinking parts of our brain are no longer able to act in the way that we need them to act. When we're thinking about calming and de-escalation, there's two parts of it. The first is that we need to calm ourselves. We need to be aware of how we're feeling and be able to calm that. We also need to be able to help the other person to calm, to do the things that mean that the situation doesn't get worse and worse. So it might be really tempting to get in the last word. It might be really tempting to make that other person see things how you want them to see things. But in that moment, whatever you say is unlikely to make any difference. So let's think firstly about calming your own emotions. So sometimes this can be called grounding, it can be called distress tolerance, it can be called self-soothing. And at these times we're trying to use our senses, use our thinking in order to calm ourselves rather than to increase the situation. So spending time thinking about, gosh, they always do this, or it's not fair that this is happening, is likely to take the emotions up rather than to bring them down. So on this website, there's lots of other videos that you can use that would be really helpful to you. Things like taking some time out just to visualise something really calming, or using your breathing to calm down. Anything really that means that you're not thinking time and time again about the things that have left you feeling emotionally overwhelmed. So when we're talking about calming other people, this is what we call de-escalation. So it's bringing down the emotions in the other person. So in order to do that, we need to have calmed ourselves first, and then we need to follow some rules. So there's 6 points that I'm going to go through that would be helpful in calming someone else. So firstly, you need to be aware of your own body posture. So are you clenching your fists? Are your hands raised? Are you pacing? Are you in that other person's space? Anything that would actually be leading to their emotion to feel like it's going up rather than coming down. Think about your breathing. Try and take a few breaths that would help you to be able to just pause and make a decision about what you want to do next rather than react to the situation. So can you be aware of any thoughts that might be actually taking your emotion upwards rather than downwards? Thoughts like, they always do this is so typical of them, they're so selfish. Trying to put those thoughts to one side and focusing only on calming the situation. Are you able to take that person's perspective? Is there anything in what that person is saying that makes sense that you can agree upon? Can you understand why that person may be saying the things that they're saying right now? So saying less. Don't start telling the person things about the past. Don't bring these things up. Trying to keep to just a few sentences. Trying to keep to the situation in hand. Describing how things are right now and what it is that you want. Playing fair. So no name calling. That doesn't help. No mind reading of, oh, I bet you did this just to upset me. Or why is it that you can't act like a sensible human being? Anything like that is going to send that other person's emotions straight up. But sticking to the facts, being able to say, I can see that we're both really upset right now. Maybe we need to spend some time just calming down. That's going to be far more helpful in the situation. So you may want to suggest some time apart before speaking about it further. We think about kind of trying to strike when the iron is cold rather than when the iron is hot, returning to things later once people are in the brain space to be able to think clearly about things. And if the other person does become aggressive, or it's clear that nothing can come of the conversation that you're in or the online chat that you're on, you're going to need some space. And you may need to give a very clear instruction to the other person if they have become aggressive, to be able to say that they need to step back from the situation, perhaps go somewhere else, take a walk, do something that means that they can calm down. So in a nutshell, de-escalation is about how your words and your actions can either lead to a situation becoming more fiery and more difficult, or whether they can make space for things to calm down and for that other person to calm down also. So it may be that you can find things that would help you calm your own emotions in those situations, and also things that you may suggest to the other person to help them calm also.